What a disaster. Last night was an absolute embarrassment. What we witnessed last night, that was a coordinated attempt to make Donald Trump seem like a liar while making cackling Cam Harris appear to be the composed example of competence. ABC was working overtime applying polish to this turd. And a lot of people are upset with ABC this morning and the doofus drones they selected to be Cam's tag team partners in this debate. And while I understand the frustration, I can't really get mad at ABC for meeting expectations. If I decide to go swimming in the Gulf of Mexico and a hungry shark decides that he wants a piece of raw ass, I can't get mad at the shark. The shark didn't jump into my pool seeking the delicacy of raw ass. He didn't knock on my front door placing a to-go order for roasted cucumber. If I decide to swim in the Gulf of Mexico, I have made the conscious decision to invade his turf. I'm in his house, which is exactly what Donald Trump did when he agreed to this debate with ABC. But KC, the media is supposed to be objective. They are supposed to abide by journalistic standards. Yeah, but they don't. ABC is owned by Disney. This is the same corporation that owns the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN. Going into the debate, objectivity, that should have been the last thing that anyone expected. But last night, as I'm watching the Trumper dismantle three opponents in a fatal four-way match, I was reminded of the stark differences between men and women. I always watch these debates with my wife because she gives me a perspective that I can't get on my own. She's not as familiar with politics as I am. She's a project manager, so she doesn't spend 7 days a week keeping up with the news and the media like I do. But that works to my advantage because she's able to give me a perspective from the average working woman in America. Now, just to be perfectly clear, she is definitely voting for the Trumper, but when I watch the debates with her, it reminds me of how men and women can see the same thing in completely different ways. My wife, she thought Cam won the debate last night. She thought that Cam was more composed. She thought Cam seemed to be more presidential. I asked her to name one memorable moment from Cam Harris from the debate because Trump had plenty of memorable moments, like sending Cam a MAGA hat because she is copying all of his policies. I thought that was great. I said, give me one policy that Cam Harris talked about that made her more appealing than the Trumper. My wife, she thought about it for a second and she said, I can't remember any of it. Now you might be thinking, how could Cam Harris win the debate if she failed to provide anything of substance? Well, that's because Cam did exactly what she needed to do last night. She spoke in these condescending platitudes. She tapped into women's emotions while talking about abortion, which, by the way, that was the only time that Cam Harris looked decent. As usual, Cam said a lot without saying a damn thing. She did the one thing that she needed to do. She appealed to women. I'm sure there are millions of women who viewed this debate the same way that my wife did. Now, that being said, I didn't think there was a clear winner in the debate last night. I thought there were only losers. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. I'm doing shorter videos on the second channel on topics that aren't as deep as the topics that we cover here on the main channel. So when you get a chance, I would appreciate if you went over there and subscribed. Obviously, the biggest loser in the debate last night, ABC. I never thought I would be wishing that CNN was moderating a debate, but CNN was a hell of a lot better than what we saw from ABC last night. The doofus moderators, who were anonymous to 99% of the population, I mean, seriously, where in the hell did they find these people? I thought CNN was the only network lacking star power. I know George Katsopoulos is one of the lead deacons at Woke United Methodist, but at least people recognize him. The unknowns moderating the debate last night, they go unrecognized while wearing name tags. But I counted 9 times last night. 9 times that the doofus moderators would interrupt Donald Trump to fact check him. Now, I have no problem with that if the fact checking goes both ways. Credit to CNN because they were at least attempting to fact check Cam Harris last night. After about 30 minutes, they ran out of hard drive space because Cam had terabytes worth of lies. But guess how many times ABC fact checked Commander Cam? Just take a wild guess. None. They were given plenty of opportunities to fact check Cam Harris. She kept referencing the Charlottesville hoax, which has been debunked by damn near every mainstream media outlet. ABC just sat back, said nothing. Cam mentioned the bloodbath hoax, which has also been debunked. Project 2025, IVF. There were plenty of lies that Cam was spreading about the Trumper, and ABC didn't say a damn thing. It was almost like they were working in collusion. Strange. At one point, the moderators, they asked Cam how she would resolve the conflict in Israel. Now, this was one of the rare moments where they actually asked Cam Harris a tough question. How did she respond? Well, she starts off with her typical response. Let's talk about how we got here. I think we know how we got here. We have been here for 2,000 years. Cam goes into this long history lesson like she is lecturing one of her classes at Woke U. The final 30 seconds of her response, she reveals her brilliant solution to the problems in the Middle East. A solution that has never been thought of before. I love Israel. I love Gaza. Can't we all be friends? Let's implement a two-state solution. I think that would work great. I know Cam Harris isn't considered the smartest person in the room when she's in a room all by herself. But as someone running for president, I would expect her to know that a two-state solution hasn't worked. My good friend George Bush, W., he tried a two-state solution. They've been trying this so-called solution for the past 20 years. It ain't working. There was another point where the doofus duo asked Cam about the economy or one of the other dozens of issues that she has no idea how to resolve. Instead of answering the question, Cam decided to give us another history lesson, but this time, it was the history of the Harris family. My name is Cam Harris. My father was a Marxist economist. I fought crime in California by making everything legal. Vote for me. My name is Cam Harris. Damn near every response that was given by Cam Harris last night was robotic. It was rehearsed. It was almost like she knew the questions beforehand. But there's no way that could happen. No. How could Cam possibly be given the questions beforehand? It's not like she's good friends with one of the executives at ABC News. One of the reasons that people think Cam Harris performed well last night is because the expectations for her were so low. She was being compared to her own past performances, and she was being compared to Johnny B. Biden. It's the equivalent of prepubescent boys on the JV team being compared to the dump divers in the WNBA. Of course, the boys are going to look like professionals when they're being compared to pretend basketball players. But when you put them on the court against NBA players, there's no comparison. But credit where credit is due. Expectations were low for Cam Harris, and she somehow found a way to exceed those low expectations. Now, I thought Donald Trump was horrific at the beginning, but he ended up finishing strong. I thought he was strong on immigration, obviously. I thought he was good on foreign policy and pointing out that the world was at peace 4 years ago, compared to the constant wars that are happening under the complete lack of leadership of Cam Harris and Johnny B. Biden. But my problems with the Trumper last night, number one, He allowed himself to bite into the shit sandwich. He should have known going in that ABC has elite masturbators. They baited Trump into talking about the 2020 election. All he had to do was say what he said towards the end of his response. It's over. Let's focus on the present. Instead, he spoke for several minutes about all this evidence, all this proof that the 2020 election wasn't legit. And look, I understand where he's coming from, but it just doesn't go over well with independent voters when you're constantly complaining about an election from 4 years ago. To his credit, though, that was the only time that the Trumper mentioned it, and it was initially brought up by ABC. He slipped up again by allowing Cam Harris to bait him into talking about rally sizes. While that works at his political rallies, it just doesn't work in debates. But other than that, once Trump settled in, I thought he performed well. My biggest problem with the Trumper was my biggest fear going into the debate. The other day, I compared the debate to a first date. When smart men are on a first date with a woman, they let the woman do all the talking. What usually happens is you find her interesting. She's able to match the physical attraction with a mental and emotional attraction, or she talks herself into being an ugly duckling. Last night, all Trump had to do was let Cam Harris have the spotlight. The couple of instances when she ran out of scripted responses, Cam was an unmitigated disaster. Problem is, we didn't get to see enough of that because the Trumper kept talking and talking and talking, and ABC allowed it to happen on purpose. They knew exactly what they were doing last night, and the Trumper fell right into the trap. Cam Harris offered nothing of substance. At the start of the debate, she promised to explain her constantly changing positions and values. She never did, and Trump never pressed her on it. Now, we knew ABC wasn't going to do it, but Trump, he missed a golden opportunity to expose Cam Harris. Instead, we know as much about Cam Harris this morning as we did going into the debate. Nothing, and that's by design. They don't want you to know the real Cam Harris because if you did, there's no chance that she gets elected. Like I said, I didn't think there were any clear winners in that debate last night, but I do think Trump was far better than Cam. The media is claiming that Cam Harris won, obviously, but I don't even think her own campaign thinks she won the debate. Seconds after the debate ended, Cam was already challenging the Trumper to another debate. Does that sound like someone who is confident they won? Think about it. When you're playing, pickup basketball with your friends and you lose, what's the first thing you say after you lose? Let's go 2 out of 3. Give me a rematch. When a champion in UFC loses his belt, what's the first thing he says? I want a rematch. The winner's basking in their glory. The winner is celebrating their victory. The only thing on the loser's mind is when it's the rematch. The Trumper, he was in full victory mode last night. If you believe his metrics, he dominated the debate. I think Trump said that his metrics show that he won 75 to 25 or something like that. Trump was saying that he was unsure if he was going to participate in a second debate. Why participate when he feels that he easily won? Me personally, I think another debate is needed, and it needs to happen on Fox News, or hell, at this point, I would be fine with CNN hosting the second debate. Trump needs to be given another chance to expose the real Cam Harris, because the opportunity was definitely missed last night. We are weeks away from the election. Early voting, I think, starts next week, and millions of people, they still have no idea who in the hell Cam Harris is. They have no idea who they're potentially voting for. But give me your thoughts on this. Who won the debate last night? If I had to pick a winner, I would pick Trump, but I don't think anyone came out of this looking great. ABC just proved they're corrupt. Cam offered absolutely nothing of substance. Trump was just typical Trump. But who do you think won? Or do you think everyone lost? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.